Good afternoon to you all. A proposal in the last week or so from the leader of the United Democratic Movement, Bantu Holomisa, that national government should be taken into administration. Essentially, there should be a caretaker cabinet until a new election can be held. He says this is because of the high levels of corruption in government after the PPE procurement scandal. Well, the leader of the United Democratic Movement, you know him well, Bantu Holomisa, joins us now. Mr Holomisa, good afternoon to you. This government was elected into office not by itself, but by voters. It has a democratic mandate for another 3.5 years at least. Why should it be taken out of office?
It's because they have hijacked the mandate. Instead of running the country, they are busy looting the resources of the country or are allowing the corruption to continue unabated. So the best approach is for them to go home and let the interim arrangement be made up until 2024. And in the process, they must also be, the interim government must be given mandate to retrieve all the monies which have been stolen by families of some cabinet ministers and friends. And also, ANC books must be opened so that all these monies which are channeled to certain companies back to Tule House are retrieved. I'll make an example. Recently, Nomvula Mkhonyana said, yes, Bosasa gave us money for birthday for their leaders. They also got millions, if not billions, for their elections, also for rallies. She said so at the Zondo Commission. Who will retrieve that money? Can you expect the ANC to investigate itself? No. It's worse now. The coronavirus money was earmarked for the needy, people who are sick. Now, if you channel those money elsewhere, you should be accused of killing the people.
Okay, that might be true. How do we, help me out here, how do we decide who gets to run the country in the interim? Are you available?
Well, we have seen it before, how the interim government are structured, especially after there have been riots and so on and demands from the public. This time around, we should sit down and Parliament agree with who would constitute such an interim without involving political parties. But that interim government will be accountable to Parliament still. But they are going to be mandated to make sure that we tighten the laws around fighting corruption, and also they must try and get as many monies back which were taken outside the country illicitly.
Well, the fact is, Mr Holomisa, I mean, you know full well that there's really no way this country can agree on who to run it, apart from through an election. I mean, when this has happened in the past in other countries, usually someone asks, I don't know, a general to run it.
Well, this is a constitutional state. There would be nothing wrong in asking a Chief Justice, Parliament, to assemble such team of civil society and take us up to 2024. So do you suggest that we must just fold our arms and let these thieves continue to loot? I disagree with you.
Okay. I have to ask you, you say this should happen in national government because of corruption, because of looting. I fully understand that, and I think a lot of people will agree with you. But I have to put it to you, Mr Holomisa, you stood and watched as Nelson Mandela Bay plunged into chaos when Mongameli Bobani was the mayor. He's a member of your party. I don't recall you asking for Nelson Mandela Bay to be put under administration. Then why is national government different?
So far as Bobani is concerned, because you seem to be peddling the view of the DA, insofar as Bobani is concerned, we asked the DA to appoint an inquiry. They did. They appointed PwC audit firm, and they conducted forensic audit. Guess what? Nothing refers to Bobani in that report. Yet the DA has been painting this person as a corrupt person. In fact, the irony now is that the DA and ANC are quoting the same Bobani to say, please help us to form a government. What what exactly do you want us to say in that case?
Well,
here is a man who was investigated, cleared. Now the ANC and the DA are saying, please, Bobani, help us.
You may say that now, but at the time, Nelson Mandela Bay collapsed into chaos. I mean, there was the relationship between Bobani and Mandela Lungisa, who basically arranged it all. Do you think that was a good outcome for people living in Nelson Mandela Bay?
I'm not sure when you are saying the Nelson Mandela Bay collapsed, but it collapsed. You use the term collapse because it was taken away from GA. But the services are continuing there.
You think that the people of Nelson Mandela Bay are happy with how they've been governed for the last 3 years? You think they're happy with that?
Yeah, they are happy. If they were not happy, the national government would have long intervened. The laws are there. But you can't compare Nelson Mandela Bay with what is happening currently. We are saying this corruption by ANC started as early as 1995, when Sarafina II was launched. And after that, they have taken monies after another, taken monies away. No one has been charged.
So you're suggesting, and let's just come back to your main point, you're suggesting that the ANC should give up political power, which, I mean, no political party in the world is going to give up political power without an election, and you know, if there's a democracy, why should they? But you're suggesting that other people should take over. Now, would it not be easier to just simply sort out the National Prosecuting Authority or have some kind of investigative body to do that, rather than to try and remove a government through a non-democratic method?
Unfortunately for you, the so-called NPA has disappointed many people over the years. The question is, why no action is taken? Why people who are weak are appointed to man those important offices of the NPA? It simply means that there is no political will from the ANC to strengthen the NPA. Instead, they would deploy weak people so that they continue this looting on the other side. And that's the position. So they need to be taken out of the executive and let this interim government clean up this mess and come up with proper rules and regulations for the next elections.
Talking of elections, I mean, we're looking at local government elections next year. There's been some conversations from the ANC and the EFF to delay the local government elections because of COVID-19. Herman Mashaba, I thought it was a little cheeky of him. He said he was quite happy to synchronize elections if we had national elections next year as well, was his view. Where do you stand, Mr Holomisa? Do you believe local government elections should go ahead next year, or should they be delayed?
In principle, we say the elections must continue next year. But if the Department of Health and this cabal which runs the government called NCCC, if they decide that the coronavirus pandemic is affecting the planning of the elections and the IEC, we'll accept whatever adjustment is to be made.
It would be quite a big adjustment to not have an election. Okay, but the National Coronavirus Command Council, we understand, met this week. Cabinet meeting tomorrow, we understand. Do you believe that the time has come to end the lockdowns? Do we need to extend the state of national disaster? Do we need to continue with the ban on alcohol?
Judging by the people on the ground, they are looking forward to another relief of some kind. So maybe we should move or march towards level 2, and in particular to look into the tourism sector, which is complaining every day, and other economic sectors. It's not going to help to say to the people of South Africa, we are introducing lockdown as other countries have done. But when those countries have lifted and life is back to normality, here at home we are still saying, no, you can't. Until when? Because people are dying of hunger. People are being harassed by banks and other institutions because they need to service their debt.
Bantu Holomisa, I do appreciate the time, sir. Thank you for the engagement this Friday afternoon. It's a very interesting idea. I'm sure you and I will have that discussion again in the future. All right, thank you very much indeed for being with us this Friday afternoon.